it's surreal. I mean, that's the word everybody's been using all day. It's fantastic.
So what has it been like for you? Big reunion for the first time with the entire original Broadway cast of Tommy. What it's been like?
Well, it's just been thrilling. It's been surreal, but it's mostly just been like delightful. Like seeing people that I haven't seen since we finished the show, actually, in some cases, and then other people that I see more regularly. But everybody looks the same to me. It doesn't seem like time has passed at all. You know, that may change when we start actually trying to sing the stuff. But it was such a really special time for all of us. It was the Broadway debut of every person in the show, and most of us had done it from La Jolla. So, you know, at that time it was just a regional theater job. Who knew what was ever going to come of it? And the way it really just took Broadway by storm, and just the subject of the piece and the material, it always just sort of connected us to each other and to the music in such a deep, visceral way. And so to kind of come back and have all of that rekindled again is just, it feels like a privilege more than anything else, really.
Well, this was a first for you, too. This was like your big Broadway job with playing Tommy. Talk about what Tommy meant to you then, the role, and revisiting it now.
Well, I think I tried to be very conscious at the time. You know, I was aware that this was a big thing and it was a big deal. Although it became a big deal. It started out very small, so it grew organically into, you know, the massive hit that it became. But it started out very simply in a 500-seat theater in Southern California, so it was all kind of manageable in that way. If we'd gone from nothing to everything, it would have been really disorienting. But instead, and I think because we had each other and everybody was kind of going through the same thing at the same time, it was pretty easy for everybody to kind of keep their heads on and realize that it was just a real gift, the whole experience, and to enjoy every wild, bizarre part of it. You know, one night we'd be singing with Pete Townsend in the basement of some club, and the next night we would be doing a big press day for, you know, the entire Broadway press corps, none of whom we'd ever met before. And, you know, and the awards stuff and all of that came along later, all of it really was secondary to the experience of telling that beautiful, moving story with that fantastic music. So that's what it was kind of about then, and it took me to places that I'd never even hoped to get to. So, you know, I achieved goals that I didn't even have. So I think that's why I did it for so long. I did 1,403 performances of it over the course of 4 years because I loved every single one of them. And I wasn't looking for it to be a stepping stone to the next part of my career. It was just like, why would I want to do anything else when I can do this? So revisiting it now, I think it's more about kind of, I guess it feels like paying tribute to that time and sort of a thanksgiving, really, for everything that it opened the door to for me professionally, but really more just kind of in my development as a working actor and a person, you know. But most of all, it's just sort of like saying thank you.
We'll be there Monday night. So what can we expect? This is a concert version. Explain it.
Yeah, it's a concert version. It'll be mostly, you know, people sitting in chairs and coming up to microphones. But Donnie and Wendell, who put together the original slide stuff for the concert, for the production, have put together, apparently, I haven't seen it yet, but an amazing sort of film montage of pictures from actual slides from the show, pictures that were taken for the coffee table book that came out at the time, and then just people's private photos and videos and stuff and stills and things from that. So it'll be a whole sort of like, you know, this is your life kind of thing in the background. So, and we've got most of the original band back together too. So, you know, you'll get the music and the volume, and it should be a pretty incredible evening, really.
When I walked in this room and saw this company, everybody looks the same.
Well, that's great. You make sure you tell them all that. Yeah,
that.
I was joking. Somebody's actually joking with me last night, is saying if we all get any older, we're going to have to start calling it Thomas. But you know, it is great to see everybody, and I was with Pete Wednesday or Sunday night at the Kennedy Center Awards. So it's been a heavy Pete Townsend Tommy week for me, and I'm really enjoying it.
You know, this was one of the first big things we ever did for Broadway Beat, one of our first big shows. This revolutionized Broadway. This took it to a whole other place. Talk about your beginnings with this musical and what it became, and revisiting it now.
You know, it was a funny, kind of a unique experience because, in all honesty, we didn't expect to come to Broadway. And in fact, no, and people don't believe this, but it's the God's truth. The B word wasn't even mentioned for about the first 6 months. And I actually finally went to Cornwall and said to...
This is where it all started,
yeah.
This guy.
In La Jolla on the beach.
La Jolla by the sea.
I remember this guy saying it has such heart early in rehearsal, and I think that's the thing that distinguished it, really, isn't it? Okay. So, and finally I flew to Cornwall to see Pete, to, just talk about the future. And that was the first time we'd ever spoken about Broadway, and we came to Broadway basically because he wanted to. We had no idea whether it would succeed or not. It was very different than traditional shows, and really from the first performance, audiences went absolutely wild. It wasn't like a typical Broadway reception, and so it is great to revisit it.
And this is for such a great cause. What can we expect Monday night? Is it a concert version? What can we look for? And I hear Wendell's slides. There's a whole thing going on.
Yeah, we're going to see, the original scenic design was done by John Arnone, and Wendell Harrington did all the projection design. And then Peter Cunningham took photographs of the show. So we're going to see those images. And it's a concert, basically, concert version.
So what has it been like for you?
Sorry.
No, go ahead. What it's been like just revisiting this cast. I mean, this was so many firsts for so many people. There was so many Broadway debuts in this show.
And most of these people came to at La Jolla Playhouse. We started there. I remember Michael Cerveris, auditioning. I think he was the first person to audition for Tommy. And most of them stayed with us when we came to Broadway. And they were young and they had tremendous energy, and they were precocious, and I think they all thought this is natural. Of course, we have a big head, and everyone's going to, so I think we all realize now that these are few and far between. So I think we have a different kind of appreciation of what we accomplished now.
What was it like for you, first reunion back for this, first rehearsal for Tommy in concert, what it meant to you? Oops. So it is.
I love that hat.
Thank you.
Are you going to be around for a second?
Yeah, I'll be around for a little while.
Are you right all day?
He's
Not yet. We're going to do an interview.
Appreciate it. Yep. So take me back. I mean, the reunion concert of Tommy, Monday night, the whole company gets together, what it meant to you.
Oh, man. Well, this is, it feels like for many of us that we were sort of, born at 80 and, now the reunion, we're here, 15 years later and we're kids again. A little bit of Benjamin Button, I think, today. Because looking at each other, it looks like everyone has youthened in many ways. The energy that we feel right now is it's reminiscent of the energy that we had when we first created Tommy 15 years ago, and it's just an exciting time for us to relive the music and what it feels like. Because when you look back at something and it's just a memory, you don't feel it. But now we get to feel it again, and so for the audiences on Monday night to be able to feel that downbeat and to feel what this show is about, with the energy and the intent that we had 15 years ago, I think people are going to realize why Broadway and rock and roll are a perfect match.
Because this was a first for a lot of you. Broadway debuts for a lot of people. No one knew the show was even going to come from La Jolla. I guess it was, Des said it was Pete Townsend who said, let's bring it in. I mean, that must have been so magical then for you all.
Yeah, I think what we all felt like at the time was that we were just, kids and adults that were just, picked from all walks of life to represent what Pete Townsend wanted to represent. And when he gave us the green light to go to Broadway, we knew that we were poised and ready to bring something very different and very special. And that's what we're going to do on Monday, is just to relive that.
So talk about what you did in the original and what you'll be doing Monday night.
Well, I play a guy named Nigel, also known as Pinball Lad Number 2. So me and Donnie Kerr and Michael Cerveris and Anthony Barilli get to sing Pinball Wizard and reunite that, along with all the other, 20 different characters I played in the original show. It's great. I kept on going, oh my God, you're in the show? I didn't know that you were in the show. I mixed the shows with, like, what's her name? Oh God, I forgot her name. The dancer. Oh, forget it.
No, but
I'll figure it out.
okay. No, but because you've done so many shows, but it's like you put these kids together.
Right. And then we actually taken shows from How to Succeed from Tommy and stuff like that. So we were just going down, and I forgot that she started in Tommy. So it was Maria Calabrese. God.
Well, take me back to the beginning, because Des was saying nobody knew what this was going to become.
Right.
I mean, take me back to the beginning, how you got involved in this and where you thought it was going to go. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, it's La Jolla time. I met Des when we did Chess. And then right after Chess, I don't know if we did Forum first. Did we do maybe Forum?
No, I think Tommy. Oh, I don't know. Maybe you did too. Yeah.
I think I did Forum with him, and then we did Tommy. And he just, got us in a room, and as Des always does, and we just kind of analyzed everything and went through every kind of variation of what Tommy was out. And the thing with La Jolla is that they absolutely did not want choreography. Welcome to my world. So, I had to stay very naturalistic, and how it would move if you were moving, anyone was moving. And then at the end of La Jolla, which was an interesting process, it was great. We kind of fought our way through the show, and we knew that there was something really special there, but there was very limited amount of choreography, a lot of musical staging. Jez got me in the room, and he said, well, here's the bad news and the good news at the same time. And I thought, oh, no, they got rid of me. We want to increase the choreography like 100%. Everything we want to build up. And I said, you're kidding. I said, that's great. He said, well, it's a lot more work for you. I said, but that's great. And, with that style, and Pete was so confident with the fact that what I did at that time wasn't going to be like the concert variations of what Tommy had done. And it worked out great. It was just a really great, exciting piece to put together.
Tell me what Tommy meant to you then and what it means to you now with this whole benefit happening Monday night.
Well, Tommy was just a really creative time for me, so it was great at that point. It was a whirlwind because we all won all the awards and it, swept whatever it swept. It's interesting how this snuck up because in the years as I progressed and kept on going, I kept on thinking we were so ahead of this ourselves. Tommy would be like a huge hit right now. We should really get it back on Broadway. So at the back of my mind, and so a lot of stuff has come up about revivals, Las Vegas, different variations of Tommy in the past couple of years. And I thought, whatever they want to do, I'm there because it is so great. Then when Donnie called me up about this, and I thought, really, do you really want to do this? And he said, yeah, absolutely. I said, yeah, okay. It's definitely a celebration, and it's very it's not trying to recreate it. So it's simplistic, it's really classy, and I think the footage will speak for what it was.
And then this is a shirt that I guess the lighting or the sound department made for us, and it has the see me thing here and feel me right here. And I found it somewhere in my house, and I said, I gotta wear it. I gotta be obnoxious and wear it the first day of rehearsal. So
that is so cool. So what is today like for you? I mean, revisiting this entire, the company again.
Yeah, it's kind of. I'm sure people have told you it's kind of like it's like a high school reunion, and we're all looking. It's like, oh my God, you got gray hair, you got, your hair looks this way, you've gotten a little chubbier. There's Cheryl. Get over here, lady.
No, I just got.
Look at this.
I missed.
Look how beautiful. Look
Cheryl Freeman. Cheryl Freeman, ladies and gentlemen. Acid Queen. Acid Queen.
Hey.
Yeah, so we're just having a good time,
I'm a little late.
Well, that's cool though. Stay with him. Stay with Norm.
Well, no, the thing, she's very cool. But the thing is, we're going over some music right now and out of time, because some people have to be here, some people have to come later or whatever. But it's just fun to see everybody, and we're just having a great, great time,
I mean, look at the reunion you two are having now. You rocked in this show.
Hey,
everybody did.
Thank you.
Talk about then and what it means to you now, Tommy.
You know what? I think after 15 years, when we do this concert this time, we're going to really do it because now we really know what to do. You know what I mean? I knew what to do then, but wait now.
See,
she grew up.
This was a first for so many. I mean, some people made their Broadway debuts. I mean, Des put this entire wonderful company. You started in La Jolla. Nobody knew Broadway was never even mentioned until Pete Townsend brought in. So what was that like then? When did you realize what you had in your hands saying, wow, we're this huge hit?
Well, I think we kind of, the buzz was that it was a hit from the beginning. And we just always felt good. And then when they said Broadway, we were screaming.
Yeah.
I mean, screaming. So happy, so blessed to have the job and, to be able to do Pete's music. And,
and I
we
wasn't
had
part of the La Jolla team, but I joined it when it got to
Got to,
Broadway.
yeah.
And then meeting Pete and people.
That was the best.
People were like, we had fans from all genres, all
Yep.
walks of life. But the fact that Pete sat us down and said, even before the movie, he's always thought of this as a staged musical.
Yep.
And it translated. And Dez's, direction and Wayne Cilento's staging and choreography, it just all melded together. This was a great group. We still keep in touch with each other, either by phone, email, or whatever.
Running into each other
Running
on the
into each
street.
other on the street.
Hey, you need a ride? Me in my car. We
She
need a
picked
ride.
me up in her Mustang convertible a couple of
This
times.
is such a great score, but Acid Queen, I mean, iconic. We knew her from Tina Turner. I knew her from the album. I mean, what was that like doing that 8 times a week?
I was just thinking about that when you were talking to Norm. I love what Pete put on my poster. He said, I was the first queen, meaning he did it. He said, but you were the best. Now, the thing is, I so love Tina. I never heard anything before, believe it or not, I never heard the song at all. And then I auditioned, I did it like that, and did it in the show, and then I heard it, I was like, oh, yes. And the thing is that she did it, she started this thing, she did the movie. I had to do it 8 shows a week. It's like, oh my gosh. But I did it for 3 years, right?
3 years.
3 years. Because La Jolla started in the spring
Right.
of 92, and then we closed, I think, June, I have a number brain, June of 95.
Because Michael Cerveris was saying many of the company stayed. He did like over 1,000 performances, he said.
I was there from the beginning to the end. I birthed her and buried her. And I'm going to bring her back.
It's been very loud because you get all these people together, and it's like I said to you before, it's people that you want to see all the time, but we just don't get the opportunity to. So it's better than any high school reunion or any kind of because it was such a group, obviously, of we were all in our 20s basically, and we were all starting out, and it was a rock show, and it was very different, and we all became such a unit so quickly, and so when we all kind of dispersed, it's like having your twin out there in the world. We were all kind of each other's twins, so it was great.
Talk about the role that you played in the original.
Captain Walker, it was funny because when I heard that I was playing Captain Walker, I grew up with this album, so I said, wait a minute, Captain Walker dies like in the first 5 minutes. And I was like, I kept calling my agent, are you sure? He said, no, in this version he's gonna live. So they changed the story around, and when we did it in La Jolla, Captain Walker is the soldier in English soldier in World War II, is missing in a prisoner of war camp, comes home, finds that his wife has assumed him dead and has taken up with a lover, and his son that he has never met is approximately 5 years old at this point, and that's when the conflagration happens, and I end up murdering her lover, and that's what sends Tommy into a state of, well, I don't know what you want to call it, but autistic kind of state. Yeah.
How cool was it singing this stuff?
It was great because, like I said, I grew up with the music. I knew every song. To have Pete Townsend around at the time to validate the whole project, and to then, for Broadway, write a new song for Mrs. Walker and Mr. Walker to sing called I Believe My Own Eyes. It was thrilling because, Marcia and I are the only other people besides Pete that have done that song, because they don't really, we've recorded it, and I don't think anybody else has really done a recording of it. So that was really special for us to have that moment as a couple to deal with the problems that we're having in our life, because our son now is 20 and we don't have a life, as far as a husband and wife. So I felt that song was really important for the story of a family. So.
And what you're looking forward to for Monday night?
I think we're all looking forward to just getting through it in a really celebratory way. And we were just in there, we're like, listen, it's not going to be the spit and polish that we had opening night on Broadway, but everyone in there is a pro. We've all kind of gone on to do different things in our life, and I just hope that it's as much as a celebration as we all want it to be. And I think it will be, because the people that are coming to see it are going to be giving us that same kind of energy that hopefully we'll be giving them. So I'm really looking forward to it.
You're playing young Tommy, right?
Yes.
How thrilling is this?
This is absolutely amazing. I never dreamed it, and now I'm here, and it's going to be an amazing experience.
So, did you know the score very well? Did you know the show, Tommy?
I did not know the show Tommy, but I got a CD, started listening to it, and I'm hooked now. It's so great.
I know it's the first day of rehearsal, or maybe one of your only rehearsals you're going to have.
Yeah.
What has it been like so far, meeting this original cast?
Oh, it's been really cool. Everyone's really nice and inviting. I was introduced to everyone, and they immediately accepted me. And it's so cool. I mean, the band, they have a rehearsal pianist, and everyone's singing, and they sound wonderful.
Why do you think this music has become so iconic? I mean, this was an album first, and it became a hit film, and then the show was a huge hit, the Broadway show. Why do you think that is?
It's a wonderful story. The music is great. I can't stop singing the music, and I think when you put that together, it makes just a whole great show, and it's wonderful.